Blake Griffin. We've been talking about the Bucks and the Nets series, and I just want to say, game 1, Blake Griffin scored 18 points, 14 rebounds. Okay,
solid night to me.
Very solid night. The man was balling. Then last game 2, Blake Griffin coming from the top of the key, slamming that thing down, airborne Blake Griffin. Listen, there's a storyline out there, but based on, these last few games, it honestly based since he's been back with Brooklyn, there's this storyline out there that Blake Griffin is turning back the hands of time in Brooklyn. Now, I could not disagree more than I already do, okay? Listen, the clock was ticking just fine when he got to Detroit. In his first season, he made the All-Star team. Then he got hurt, had an ankle injury, and missed the final 8 games of the season. The next season, he came back, dropped 50 a game, won it in overtime against the Philadelphia 76ers. First Pistons dropped 50 in a game since Rip Face Mask Hamilton. Remember when we used to think face masks like that were normal because we saw Rip have one on all the time?
And it's like, no, he just wears a face mask. That's weird. But yeah.
Right? Blake Griffin also that same season dropped 44 against his former Clippers. And then he hurt his knee. Now, the knee injury was a significant injury with Blake Griffin in Detroit. After he hurt his knee, the batteries of the clock then died, and he just needed to take a little time to recharge the batteries. Okay, that's all he needed to do. You know what I'm saying? Blake Griffin is Blake Griffin. But he didn't. He let the clock sit on the wall for everybody to see it with absolutely no movement. Y'all, when I say absolutely no movement, this man came back from his knee injury, averaged a career low 15.5 points. Okay, and he missed time again because maybe he re-aggravated the knee, I believe. He did something. The next season, he averaged another season low, a new season low, 12.3 points per game. And he was shooting 36.5% from the field before sitting out for a month while waiting to be traded or released. Bro. But the most eye-popping stat from that Detroit Piston run that I'm sure we've all talked about. We've talked about it here, Mervin. Blake Griffin did not dunk in a game for nearly a year and a half. We are talking about Blake Griffin, Mr. Slam Dunk, Mr. Lob City, Mr. I dunked over a Kia and won the slam dunk contest.
Hood, but yeah.
Here you go. Did he not dunk over a Kia car?
He did, but I just say it would have been better had he jumped over the roof, not the hood. That's all I'm saying.
I agree, for sure. But it's still impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. He definitely jumped over a car. So Blake Griffin, Mr. Lob City, Mr. Dunk, Mr. Kia, you doing all these dunks for show, and then you go a whole year and a half from December of 2019 to March of 2021. Now, granted, he only played 20-plus games in that span, but still, did not even attempt a dunk in a single game. When he was with the Clippers, between, when was Chris Paul there? Between 2011 and 2017?
Lob City.
Was it Lob City? Wasn't watching their games like watching the All-Star game? Nothing but lobs and slam dunks. Him and DeAndre Jordan. Like, that's all you saw. But in his final season in Detroit, the man didn't even try to attempt a dunk one time. So we thought he was busted. We thought, he was washed. Right, Mervin? Is that what you thought?
Yeah. We're like, oh, okay, look at Brooklyn. Okay. Oh.
Right? I'm like,
Blake Griffin, all right. Oh, okay, all right. Yeah,
Blake Griffin, that every time you turn on TV, you see a commercial for Blake Griffin?
Yeah.
The first man to dunk over a car in a dunk contest? Okay. In his final 49 games with the Pistons, so let's go further than a year and a half. Blake Griffin he dunked 5 times. In his final 49 games with the Pistons, he dunked 5 times and didn't dunk in the last, I think, 25 games. In his first season with the Brooklyn Nets, in the first 7 games, he dunked 5 times. How do you go from dunking 5 times in 49 games and then magically I can dunk again, and I dunked 5 times in the first 7 games? Magically.
Look, boss, I can walk again.
Magically.
Look, boss, I can. Look, boss, my knees work again. I can. Look, I can. I can put the ball in the hole. Hey, look, look.
In the year
he played possum. he played possum.
In the year 2021, in his very first game, Blake Griffin with the Brooklyn Nets, after spending a year and a half not dunking with the Detroit Pistons. In his very first game, he magically got his legs back and recorded his first dunk since 2019. You mean to tell me you was with Detroit for how long without dunking?
I'd be hot as fish grease if I was Detroit's front office. Man, this man, he did what he needed. Hey, he did what he needed to do and got out of there. That's what he did.
I have never heard of a player purposefully faking being washed until I lay my eyes on Blake Griffin this year. I'd be sick to my stomach if I was Detroit. False. I'm not a player fake being washed. Okay. I'm not talking about a player who don't want to play.
Okay, I was about to say. Team. Okay, fair enough. Because I was about, where I was about to go. James Harden earlier.
Yes. No. James Harden said he didn't want to be there, and
he also showed up like 20 pounds overweight, quote unquote, and all that stuff. But.
Okay, that whole thing, I think it was the camera angles or something. Because it was a picture of him 20 pounds overweight, and then the very next week it was a picture of him slim down.
Let's say he looked big in those pictures.
He did look big, but I'm trying to tell you, literally the very next week it was pictures of him slim down. If y'all listen, I'm pretty sure one of y'all have seen what I'm talking about. Yeah. Literally the very next week he was slim down. I was like, okay, at this point. Anyways, but I have never purposely seen a player fake being washed.
Yeah, fair enough.
Until this year, and I lay my eyes on Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin, listen, if y'all are Detroit fans, Blake Griffin should make y'all sick to y'all stomach. Blake Griffin robbed the city of Detroit for well over $40 million. Just 7 years after the city filed for bankruptcy. I was about to say
Detroit ain't exactly one of the ballingest cities right now. They got a few financial issues to worry about.
7 years ago, y'all filed for bankruptcy, and then Blake Griffin comes through and robs y'all for $40 million. Yeah. Now I know the two are completely unrelated, but it makes for a better story.
It's the same thing. Yeah, right. It doesn't fit our narrative if you look at it like that.
Exactly. it makes for a better story. But Blake Griffin faking being washed lost himself $13 million, but. When I say lost him $13 million because he had to sign a veteran minimum when he got to Brooklyn, but it might turn out. I was about to say, would I pay
$13 million for a ring? Probably.
That's basically.
Probably.
It turns out he could win a championship.
Probably. So.
And at the end of the day, Blake Griffin could get more than the veteran minimum if you ask me. Not his next year, okay? Because I still think he is a little washed, but he not washed like he said he was, okay? Right. But I definitely think he can get more money in the future of his career. But definitely, this man robbed the city of Brooklyn, and we just gonna let that slide. Apparently,
pretty much.
The city of Detroit, we just gonna let that slide. Pretty much. Everybody just gonna let it slide. Like Blake Griffin went over there acting washed, would not. You didn't think this man had bunnies, man. You And now all of a sudden, this man is literally dunking, coming through the lane from the top of the key, full speed, cock back, dunk, yamming that thing, But he could not even do a little, them little jump, them little hop dumps they be doing, them tall dudes. He couldn't even do one of them. So Detroit, y'all got robbed. Blake Griffin, we see you. At least we know you're not washed anymore, but you definitely owe them some money.